Hi, I'm Rachel McLeod, and today I want to talk to you about why you don't have to be smarter than your brain to heal. And I'm talking to people with anxiety, depression, or traumatic stress. I'm talking to you if you have complex trauma or you have complex disorders. Um, this is a really important topic, and I'm going to dive in and show you why this is the case. I really want to reassure you. I want to simplify this for you. I kind of want to hand you over to your brain in a very trusting manner. I know this is like bad talk for people with anxiety, depression, and traumatic stress. Like, no, don't hand me over to my brain. It's bad in there. It tortures me, right? And I know. And so I'm not going to make you do anything you don't want to do, but I do want to invite you to look at it from this perspective. Um, because it really simplifies things. And I'm just going to let you borrow my perspective since this is the work I do. I do this with tons of people, hundreds of people, and with very complex disorders, and they resolve. These people heal. They go on to live beautiful relationships, beautiful lives, reach their goals, thrive, flourish, and unfold. And I rely on this principle a ton. And it really is, you don't have to be smarter than your brain. As a matter of fact, it's not even possible to be smarter than your brain. You cannot beat your brain. Y'all think you're all tricky and smart. Me too, right? You think you're getting away with something. You think you figured something out, and then you find out that you have not, and that your brain, that your problems and your malfunctions and your disorders has caught up, and it's strung you up by the legs and hung you upside down in your life, right? And you did not win. Um, and sometimes in these moments, you'll feel like you're back to square one, or you feel like you can't outrun this. You can't. You cannot beat your brain. And to heal, you don't have to do that. You don't have to be smarter than your brain. You can let your brain be smart and creative and manipulative. Brains are very manipulative. They're manipulating all the things. You can let them be that. You can let them be evil and wicked and horrible. And you can let them be majestic and powerful and creative. You can let them have all their power and still thrive. And that is how you thrive. We can be threatened by other people and other things' power, especially when they're having power over us. But in this case, your brain is you. It has your highest interest in mind, and it is powerful, and it wants the best for you. So uh, we want to really feed this player on our team. We want to really empower this player. We want to support this player. What do you need? You're out here trying to help me reach my goals and my needs. What do you need? What do you need from me? I'm going to tell you, it needs one thing only, and you don't have to be smarter. You don't have to be smart to do it. And as a matter of fact, all my smart clients have problems with this because they want to be smart. They want their smarts and their intelligence to be able to crack this code, and it does not. That's not what your brain needs. That's not the support it needs. And it doesn't help. Your brain doesn't care how smart you are because it's 3,000 times smarter. So your smarts don't impress it. Your smarts might impress your therapist and your family members and all these other things and people, but it's not impressing your brain. Okay, so but we can work with our brain in a specific way to empower it to do its work and deliver us amazing, powerful, wonderful, fulfilling, satisfying experiences, and ways of being and connections and relationships. So that's its job. If you don't have some of the things you want, it's because your brain can't accomplish that. And so we want to get in there and help it. And again, you don't have to be smarter than your brain. Stop being smarter than your brain. That's an illusion. That's a delusion you have created. You are not smarter than your brain. Okay, I think I've rubbed that in enough. Um, so let me show you what's going on here, and let me introduce myself a little better. I'm Rachel McLeod. I'm a therapist, therapist mentor, and emotional wellness coach, and I specialize in doing the brain work, helping people do the brain work for resolving symptoms of anxiety, depression, traumatic stress, and also to bring in the good that you want and need to accomplish and to feel and experience. That's all your brain's job. So that's what we want your brain to be doing. We want it to be doing the healing functions and the thriving functions, especially if you come from a history of complex PTSD, a complex childhood trauma. We want to put your brain to work because there's stuff that didn't get done or stuff that was done. We need a lot of the healing functions from because of what happened, and also the thriving functions because of what did not happen. There's thriving functions that have not yet been built. We want to run those, okay? Now, that puts me right in this place. You might be like, oh my gosh, there's so much work to do. Yes, there's actually quite a lot of healing and repair work that needs to take place. If I were to try to list this out to you, sometimes I feel overwhelmed by that. Like, I gotta make an exhaustive list of all the things. Like, I cannot. I don't desire to at this point, maybe later. But um, there's so much healing work to do. And your brain's designed to do it, and it's fast. And we just need to get out of its way. And if you could just stop pretending to be smarter than your brain, you would be on team brain and we could rock. Okay, so position yourself there. Now, so there is a lot. If you had to do all this work, you might as well go hang it up because you're not going to do it. But because your brain has to do this work, good, bet, let's go. Your brain, it can do so much and so much transformation. I even don't like to give people lots of information in the beginning because it slows down the process. It slows down what the brain can do. Uh, so let's I'm not mad at you for needing information, right? But I do want you to understand that all this information hunting you're trying to do, uh, an ounce of that stuff could create ripple effects for decades in your life if you could apply that same energy to just helping your brain do its work. If we could position you behind the brain and supportive to your brain, we could get this done. We could heal deep wounds and get you functioning and thriving in 2 to 6 months, right? You can spend 2 to 6 months researching whatever and still be stuck with the exact same disorder afterwards. You know, you've done it over and over and over again. But when we're out here in front of our brain trying to say, hey, brain, come this way, come this way, come this way, it's not quite the right position. It's like a fourth of the right position. Okay. So, let's talk about this. And this is also happening when people think they need to be smarter than their brain. They're worrying about, am I doing this right? Is this the right way? Did I get this right? Did it this and that? Brains are designed to really, okay, let me just show you this, okay? Your brain is an organizing system. Your mind body system is designed to thrive. It's just like a tree. You plant the seed, and everything in the coding is set off to make all the structure of the tree, the roots, everything. It doesn't have to think to do this. It just does it because it's a self-organizing entity. We are the same way. We just do a lot of things without needing to think about it. So many more things than you know. Okay. That's how brains work. Now, we do have a thinking component that we need to weave into all of this, and brains are designed to do that too. But if it can't, it won't. And brains do get stopped in one place. And this is why we have tons of symptoms of anxiety, depression, and traumatic stress. And that is right at the survival system reactivity in the brain, right? That's if you have the brain, your spine, then you have the brain stem, then you have your survival system right coming out of the brain stem, right past the survival system. These are the gatekeepers. If what's passing through is pain, the pain neurons flash, and the survival system's like, we're under attack, right? So we're fight, flight, freeze, faint, or fawn. We actually, if we're safe enough, if we feel safe, we'll have a whole brain state, and all this information from the body, from up the spine, goes into a whole brain state, and we're thinking it through. We're putting words and thoughts and feelings, and we're wiring, and we're integrating this part of the brain with this part of the brain. There's a lot of wonderful things happening here, and then we're growing back into the body, and all this beautiful, rich creation is going back in. And so new ways of being, upgraded ways of being are going back in. So information comes up, they work, they send in updated codes, we thrive better, we're adjusting. This is the process of adjusting to our world. Information goes in, it goes up, uh, right now we are expanding. Okay, we only went outside. It's cold. We went outside with a jacket. Okay, wait, hold up, back up. We got to get in there now. We processed that information. They did their thing. Now we need to put some boots on. Okay, let's go put some boots on. We got a jacket and boots. We're winning, right? We're adapting. We're becoming flexible. We're becoming creative. We're adding on strategies, right? That's happening up here. And so, but the requirement up here is safety. If you come from a childhood history of abuse, neglect, there's a lot of insecurity and unsafety that you've experienced, and your mind body system doesn't have enough safety to be in this state. It's out here. It's like reacting to the world, fight, flight, feast, faint, fawn. I need to survive, survival mode, survival mode. I'm expecting to need to act and react at any moment, right? This is not a whole brain state. The brain function here throughout our everyday life is very different. And so we're getting different results. We're not getting thriving. As a matter of fact, we're actually losing function. We're losing ability. We're getting more and more information trapped in our system. And once it gets trapped up here in the survival system, it gets sent back down in the body. The body has to carry this information. It doesn't get to go through. And this nice a loop for adjusting, adapting, growing, maturation is not happening. Right? And there's no amount of your intelligence that's going to improve that. It's like if your liver is not filtering your blood, that means more and more toxins are going through your bloodstream. There's no amount of intelligence that's going to stop that. It's a body, it's a mind body function, the liver. I don't know how involved the mind is, but let's just say that there's some influence there. Um, this right here is a physical thing. This is not an intelligence thing. That's why your logic and your reason is not working to get rid of your symptoms. And you can't be smarter than this process broken, right? If your heart is not pumping, you can't be smarter than that, right? We actually have a physical component that we have to do to be healing and processing and filtering emotions and emotional distress through our mind body system that gives us that wonderful flexible adaptability, thriving, security, confidence that we're designed to have, that healthy processes create. If you have enough safety, your brain is already going to make that. Right now, this part of the brain is the one that's interpreting whether we're safe or not, and it's not very logical, and it's not at all reasoning. It's not logical, and so you can't influence this with your smarts and your intellect. It doesn't work like that. You have to come in and you have to prove to this part of the brain that you're safe, and it's reading the stuff that's coming up through the spine, the senses, the brainstem. That's it. Wants to know, is there pain here or not? Are we safe or are we not safe? Right? While there's pain, we want to also send safety signals. When this one is receiving safety signals, even while there's pain, it we will relax, and we will relax into it, and we will the whole brain. This part of the brain will allow the whole brain to turn on. This part shuts off this part. Right? So you can't be smarter than this part, and this part is not even smart. So you can't, you're trying to give it apples and it's talking about oranges. We're not matching up. We're not doing this right. That's why you're not getting symptom resolution. And one of my kids asked me, "Do I have to tap, mom?" No, you don't. There are so many interventions. Find the ones that work for you. But let me tell you what, this is the one that will determine which intervention you use. Or if you're smarter than this part of it, this one likes tapping, but you want to give it breathing, and yours, it doesn't, the way you're breathing makes it worse, you're not getting this. Right? If you're doing tapping and this is freaking out your survival system, and you keep tapping, you're not getting this. Right? And you need the exact ingredients for your system to turn into this. And you'll notice it'll just flip. You're all of a sudden you're feeling relaxed. The nausea in your stomach and the tightness in your stomach is releasing. You're getting new thoughts, new ideas, insights, epiphanies, solutions, and the solutions are a little bit better than they were before. You're seeing things from multiple perspectives. Those are signs this is firing, and this is up and running. That's what we're looking for. We want to guide your system to do this, and then it resolves everything. It starts the stuff that would have been used by this part of the brain as fight, flight, freeze, faint, or fawn is now being used to understand and get smarter and to put words and understand and adapt. There's high level function going on here. It feels magical. It's not, it's brain function. All of a sudden, you just stop panicking. All of a sudden, you just stop snapping at your children. You don't know exactly why, but all of a sudden, they made calm, they made peace. This is who makes this whole contraption that we have, our whole mind body system, is what makes peace, joy, connection, seeing things from multiple perspectives, growth, maturation. If you're not getting those things, it's because it's not working together. That's the entire problem. And so if you're trying to get rid of symptoms, but you're not working, you're not satisfying this ingredient, your brain won't turn into a state that where it will resolve the symptoms. And you don't have to be smarter than this. You don't have to say, hey brain, what you need to do over here is you need to act like this. Your brain will hand you something that is 4,000 times better than the one you suggested because you're so smart, right? It's like, let me come back here and tap into the earth's wisdom, mix it around a little bit, and then let me give you 17 ideas that you can do in that situation, and let's rock, right? So we can. So that's what I want you to do. If you're doing this with this part of the brain, it's closing here, you're winning. You don't have to be smart to do this. And okay, so let me tell you, this part of the brain is responding to the body. You actually need to use the body to send messages to this, right? That's why one of my interventions is EFT, emotional freedom techniques, right? We're tapping on specific points. We're actually talking, we're using the body to send messages of safety to your survival system. And you will notice instantly if your survival system is picking up that information. That's one round. That usually is enough to start noticing shifts in how distressed we are, how big the anxiety is. Does it get smaller? If it is getting smaller, that part of the brain likes this intervention and it's like, I can hear the safety here. Okay, we're safe. I'm gonna get out of the way. I'm gonna let the healing happen. I'm gonna let this loop complete. I'm gonna let the whole brain come together. That's where then the brain will go and rearrange things and resolve the symptoms. Now people sometimes are tapping in there like, well, the symptom's not gone. Well, it will be. Maybe we haven't gotten to what it needs to get in there yet, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. Maybe we haven't positioned all the things into place. Maybe, right? But it's not our job to know exactly what those things are, and I'm going to totally tell you something else about that in a second. But it's not really our job. It's to can we keep this closed? That's the job. That's what we're fighting for. This is what we're fighting for. Okay, that's our first objective. Can we influence your brain to quickly switch into a whole brain state? And can we do it? Can we do it? Can we do it? Can we do it over and over and over again? Can we? When the answer is yes, now it's time to move on to the next thing. Now you get to be a little smart. But this part is not about smarts. There's another intervention I teach. This one's like a massive, like hammer to symptoms. I mean, it's like the survival system's like, ah. So I love this one. It's pretty complex, right? But you're doing this one and you'll noticing your brain relaxing, right? Like if someone said it feels like a nervous system reset, right? And that's because all of a sudden it's resetting into the whole brain state like it's designed. And we want to do that over and over and over again. We want to take this brain state into every area of your life so that your brain is doing this adaptability, flexibility, processing, resolving, healing, maturation, mastery thing everywhere, right? So we're fighting for this. That's what we're fighting for. This is what you're fighting for in your sessions with your therapist. If you're not fighting for this, I don't know what you're doing in your therapy sessions if you've got anxiety, depression, or traumatic stress, right? Once you get this, then we can go choose what we want to resolve. We can say, hey, brain, I got this problem over here. Can you come over here with me? Let's look at it together. And while you're looking at it, I want you to look at it. But while you're looking at it, I'm going to make sure you're feeling safe. Okay? And so you're going to have your brain look at the thing it wants resolved, or we can get tricky about that. And you're going to do the intervention. This is the easiest intervention. And I can talk at the same time that I'm doing it. And it's quick, right? And you're going to do the intervention. And you're sending your brain in to look at it, but you want it to look at it in a whole brain state. Don't go look at it and freak out, right? Or, we want to go look at stuff the brain is freaking out about. So we're like, come over here. And the brain says, ah, and then you're like, ah, how about that safety signals, right? And then the brain is like, okay, okay, I can do this. I can look at this. I can look at this thing. Oh, hey, that's not supposed to be there. I know, right? And that's not supposed to be there. And so the brain's getting in there and it's rewiring and it's throwing things out of there. It's like you're like, I know, right? Let's go. You're like, I didn't like that there either. It felt terrible. And all of a sudden the brain's like, we should do this with it. And you're like, oh, that's a good idea. And then we should do that because it's in there in the whole brain, all the little departments. We should put this words to it. We should, this, right? But if they go in there and they freak out at it and they're going to run off and that's going to get shoved back into your body and you're no, right? And so the other thing, these safety signals that we're sending up don't have to be perfect. Your system is brilliant. It just needs these things. It doesn't need them perfectly. This is happening when we're getting hugs. It's happening when we're getting high fives, pats, rocks, when we're there's so many of these states, things that shift us into a regulated state. And that's really what we're using. You don't have to use tapping, but you have to do something that your survival system's responding to. Okay? Now, once you have this and you can flip your brain into this state over and over and over again, we're going to need to do that a lot because if you've got complex childhood trauma, there's a lot of your history that was here. That means it didn't get processed and it's still in your body. That's why you have somatic distress, which means anxiety in your body or distress in your body that's related to your emotions, like racing heart, headaches, tension in your shoulders, stomach ache, irritable bowel symptoms. I think that's called digestive distress, right? All that stuff. That's because this is how your brain is doing all of that. It's not resolving anything. It's freaking out. It's running around in your mind, freaking out about everything. Right? No, we want to influence it to stay here. Maybe we can only stay here for a couple of moments. Maybe that's all we can do. That's a lot of processing, right? And then whatever that got cleaned up, now it's not the brain's not going to freak out about that, but it's going to freak out about these things. Now we're over here helping it. We're just doing this. We're just this, right? And we're doing it over here and we're doing it over here and we're doing it over here. Right? Now we can bring in some other strategies. Now we can guide the brain into places, but we don't want to be guiding the brain into places if it's going to get in there and freak out. We're not going to get anything done. We're re-traumatizing ourselves. Right? And we're leading with, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to lead you over here. I'm going to be so smart and I'm going to guide you over to this area. But your brain is freaked out. And now you're smarter than your brain is. You are actually now smarter than your brain is because now it's the only survival mode. Right? It's not a thinking center. It's not a smart intellectual center. We want to pull it into its highest state. This is like mastery. This is where it's at. This is your highest intelligence. This is the party that will organize all of your emotional, mental, physical intelligence. You want this and you want to take it in there. Then it's fun. You get to be smart and you get to support this part of the brain, but you're still not smarter than this, right? And it's always for your highest good. It's always working things out for you. It knows exactly what you want. All in here, the desires are in here. Your morals, your values are in here. And this part is you. It knows you. It knows what you want. Everything that funnels through this part is going to be you. It's going to be authentically you. Stuff that runs through this is going to be your animal self. Fight, flight, freeze, faint, fawn, all the clawing, snapping, biting, freezing, playing dead. All that stuff is this. You don't want this. You want this. You want your authentic, empowered, confident self. You got to get this, your brain looking like this and get it into your life. And in the beginning, it really can't go all the places. In the beginning, we can only get it regulated in a couple of places, right? That matters. Because if you can do it here, your brain sits back. It's like, I bet I could put this over here, over here, over here, over here, over here. Now it's multiplying the little work we did and it's spreading it around in different places. Yes. Now your little effort created 100-time-fold effort. Then we're going to do a little bit more. And whatever we get resolved and your brain can do, it says, oh, well, that's over here, 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 here. And now it's, while you're sleeping, going over there and doing that. And then we're going to go do a little bit more work. Oh, we got through that one and we stayed in a whole brain state. Your whole brain got to look at that and process it and transform it and upgrade and process and insights and epiphanies. And then your brain's going to say, hey, that's over here, 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 here. And it's going to go and resolve those issues for you because it's like, I get it now. And I'm not afraid of that anymore, right? And so we're doing a little bit of work. Your brain is doing the work, a thousandfold of the work. That's why all this complexity is not that big of a deal. We just have to do this right. And we have to work with your brain. We have to team up with your brain and rock. Okay. So, having said that, I have a free program to teach you how to work with my favorite interventions. I want you to try them. I need to flee off of this because I need to get to my next session. Um, it's in the description. Join me. Come join me on this. Play with your brain in a new way. It will give you access to so much healing. That's all I can tell you. Take a trip with me into your mind and let's support it in this new way and see what you think. Okay. I'll talk to you later. Bye.